All right, hey guys, I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. Thought I would make a video. Have not made one for a while. Thought I'd hit one before the National. Talk about what's going on, my national plans. Also, we are moving. Yeah, we are moving a little bit closer in. We live in Oregon City, moving a few miles closer in because we'll have better walkability. We'll be on the upper bluff. We'll be in a neighborhood with a bunch of mid-century homes on large lots with big trees. Gorgeous park that's got, huge trees. Not too far of a walk to the bluff. You can look down over historic Oregon City, the first incorporated city west of the Mississippi, and then you can walk just a little ways down to the promenade where you're, looking out over the Willamette River, and you've got, various places to eat and shop and all that stuff. So just an absolutely incredible mid-century neighborhood with, a really tight-knit community, and yet really nice walkability. And every time I run or walk through that area, which is pretty regularly, I'm just like, oh man, this is the place. We've been looking for a couple of years now, pretty seriously. And I've only seen a few houses within a couple of years come up in that area. And we finally landed one of them. And I'm just pinching myself. I mean, there's a long story there, but anyway, let's move on with this video. First thing I'm going to do is turn this camera around, show you some pictures of this place we're moving to. Yeah, we're selling our 10-year-old house. We're going to get it on the market here pretty soon, but we're already under contract on the new home. But we're selling our 10-year-old house to buy a 66-year-old home, and I could not be happier. Woohoo! All right. So I just wanted to give you a few pics here. That's the front of the home. And here's the covered area in the back. That pool is going to go. A few big trees back there, and that's the north side. So, that'll be kind of the cooler side, and the south side is the front. Just perfectly situated, it turns out. Here we've got a shot of the back of the house from, partway into the backyard there. The lot is about 130 feet deep, so it's and then about 100 feet wide. So pretty big lots there for sure. Front of the house, again, really nice. Notice that Roman brick. So the trampoline will go as well, but there's a really nice 3-year-old cedar fence all the way around with big concrete footings at every post. So they really did it right. Another shot of the back there. I think as we get older, we're going to love this one-level living. Woohoo! Notice the tongue and groove cedar on the carport. All of the soffits, tongue and groove cedar. They really used high quality materials, hardy plank siding and so forth. And here's just a few shots of the inside. Gorgeous remodeled kitchen into the dining on the other side. And then far side of the kitchen has that built-in hutch and sliders out to the back patio. Another kitchen angle. Dining room. Room from the front door with a pellet stove. And there's the front. Yeah, so I'm super stoked. My wife is as well. And this is just like a dream home for me. Really quality construction from the mid-centuries and totally redone. It's new gutters, new paint, a relatively new roof. Passed the inspection with flying colors. I mean, there's a few little things, but nothing, nothing significant. Just checking all the boxes. Walkability, big lot, big trees, wonderful neighborhood, close in. Seems to be a pretty quiet area. So, everything we're looking for. So super stoked about that. And I'm going to have a card room. Woohoo! So really stoked about that. So that will be coming in the future. All right, let's get down to some national talk and what's been going on here in the Vintage Sanctuary. All right, I just wanted to show this off again. In case you have not seen it, I sold my PSA 8 and bought this SGC 7. The PSA 8 was way off center, and I thought it wouldn't bug me, but it kind of did. So eventually, and I got a good buy on this. I mean, my goodness, I think I, got this for like something like, 2/3 of the price or even less than that. Yeah, less than that, like maybe 60% of the price of a PSA 8, which I think is just, ridiculous. What I care about most is having the card, you know, and I think that I will take this SGC8 all day long. So basically, traded in, so to speak, my off center 7 for this really nicely centered 8, you know, and in the process with fees and stuff, you know, it cost me a little bit, but I think it was well worth it. I love the upgrade. The number, heck yeah, I'll take it. But really, it's not so much about the number by any means. It's about liking the card, liking the look of the card, and super stoked to have it. So I have shown that off, but I just thought I would show it again. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of Jordans. There's a reason for this. You know, I have well, first of all, I'm taking this to the National. It's worth, you know, maybe 20 times what I paid a few years ago, which is just absolutely insane. Now, these are so often off center, pretty much, you know, almost all the time. In fact, if one is centered well, I'd kind of beware. So I looked for one that had nice, sharp corners and nice clean edges with no, no white showing, because I thought visually on this red card, that was a really nice way to go. This 195 is often cut into, but not on this one. So that's worth, you know, maybe 20 times what I paid, literally, which is just crazy. You know, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying I'm going to take that to the National and possibly trade it. Same with this. You know, this is worth, again, you know, maybe 20 or more times what I paid a few years ago, which is just insane. So yeah, I'll probably take this to the National as well. And, you know, maybe I'll trade both of these and get something just, you know, just super epic, like maybe, you know, if I can find one. I mean, I know it's a really, really hot card right now, but maybe a 52 tops Jackie Robinson, or maybe a Mickey Mantle rookie card, 51 Bowman, you know, something like that. So we'll see. Now, here's the deal. Every time, I mean, I have sold some Star Jordans. I didn't have the 101. I had it many years ago, but I've sold some of these subset Star Jordans within the last, you know, couple years, year or two. And, you know, it was a bad move financially because they have just taken off. I mean, the deal is I made money on them. I bought stuff that increased in value. I mean, here's a couple of examples. So I'm pretty sure that some of those Jordans funded this 52 Bowman Mickey Mantle, which I got for a fantastic buy right before last year's National. So, and this thing is just screaming vibrant and gorgeous. So, you know, this has went up in value substantially. But, however, the cards I sold that funded this have went up a lot more because they were Jordan Star cards. So every time I sell a Jordan Star card, you know, I guess you could say, hey, I made some bucks. I'm truly not saying this to brag, but I guess you could say I made some bucks. I'm just being transparent. But at the same time, I left so much money on the table if I had waited. So, you know, am I going to go trading these two off and then regret it because they'll be worth even more? You know, maybe, but I'll get cards that I like. Let's see here. I'm going to pause for a moment. All right, had to go grab this bad boy. For example, I traded a couple Star Jordans for this, and those cards I traded have just went insane. This has probably increased some, and again, what I paid for the two Jordans that I traded for this enabled me to get this for about half of, you know, what it would have cost otherwise. So, you know, you could say I made out big time, but you could also say I left so much money on the table if I had kept those Jordans. However, so I'm only, you know, I mean, hey, who can say, right? It's such a crazy market though, right? Like, you know, I can say I don't care about the money, but here's the thing. You know, when something, you know, you have, let's say you trade $1,000 card for another $1,000 card, just as an example, right? And if one of them goes from 1,000 to 1,500, and the one you traded away goes up $500, and the one that you obtained in the trade goes down 200, you know, you might not think too crazy much about it, right? But what happens if the one you traded away like 10x's, you know, in a short period of time? That is just freaking insane. It'll mess with your mind, you know? So I am so happy to have this card, but once again, you know, am I going to regret? You know, I get cards like this, which I think are just amazing cards and I love having, but financially, am I going to regret it? I mean, there's this one too, you know? Again, this was an upgrade because I had a one that was pretty beat up, and now I have this pristine one. Woohoo! And, you know, I think this will do pretty well as well. I'm so happy to have this card. I mean, yeah, so happy to have this card. So I don't regret it one bit. But once again, you know, when you're trading away Jordans and they've just went so insanely bonkers beyond what, you know, probably most people could even have imagined. It's like, do I dare? Do I dare? But here's the other thing. These have went up so much. Aren't they due for some sort of a correction? Like if I could trade these two for some epic vintage card I just absolutely love, you know, like say a Mickey Mantle Bowman 51 rookie. I mean, you know, isn't that the way to go? Trade something that's been on fire and has just went insane. Why not trade it while it's the hottest thing ever and get something that is, you know, pretty darn sweet and awesome and you know, an iconic card in the hobby, but that's not quite so on fire. Seems like a reasonable thing to do, but, you know, hey, I'm going to take those to the National. I'm okay coming back with them. It could very well be that, you know, I trade them off and I regret it once again, at least financially, not in terms of the cards I get, but at least financially. It's like, what the hell, man? What the hell? I'm just going to lay it out there and say it this way, you know. If I trade a card and it doubles in value, you know, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that. Or if, you know, if I obtain a card in trade and it goes down by 50%, I'm not going to lose so much sleep, especially since I'm blessed with a lot of cards. So some of them go up and some of them go down. But if I trade a card and the freaking card that I trade like 10 X's, you know, that's just freaking insane. And that can mess with at least my mind. I mean, you know, hey, maybe some of you are Zen masters. So, you know, we're looking at some cards. The DiMaggio, the Mantle, the Chamberlain. We're looking at some cards where, you know, I absolutely love them. I'm so grateful and blessed to have them. But again, and, you know, I made money on the Jordans that funded them. Now, part of the funding for this was my well-loved or beat-up one that I sold to obtain this pristine one. But anyway, you know, am I going to trade those Jordans and regret it? I guess time will tell. We shall see. By the way, of course, I welcome your comments below on, you know, I'm not trying to grow the channel. Hey, I kind of like it when I get more subs and it grows, but, you know, I'm not trying. I'm lazy. What about this bad boy? I am taking this to the National, not to trade. I kid you not. If someone offered me double what I paid, I got a fantastic buy on this, you know, a couple months ago. It was a new buy it now on eBay. And, you know, because it's a 1.5, it went for a great price. And I think it was so undervalued, so undervalued. I mean, here's the deal. It was stuck in some sort of an album, so you have little remnants of glued paper or whatever on the corners. To me, it just enhances the vintage appeal. And, you know, all the wording's there, everything. To me, you know, this card is just a freaking gem. To find one this fresh, this centered, I know I've said this before, a little bit of, you know, I think maybe chipping on the surface there, maybe, you know, from the factory, who knows, I don't know, but nothing, in my opinion, that's nothing. You know, big blue blotch, there's often a blue blotch here. This one's pretty big, I don't mind, I kind of like it. Just kind of as a testament to the rich colors. Rich colors, vibrant, white cardstock, sharp, centered, you know, the registration's really nice for this card. I mean, this is insane. I don't care what anyone says, in my humble opinion, this is, you know, this should be worth a lot more than a 1.5 when it's blowing away 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s that don't look anywhere near this good. So I'm taking that just to show it off. This is kind of, sort of, potentially my big National pickup that I bought 2 months before the National because I saw it and I said, gotta have it. It was, you know, right up there, possibly my #1 gold card, right up at the top. And I said, I gotta have it. So I'm taking this just to show it off. And, you know, this was, I'm just going to say this was a little under $2,400 all in, no tax in Oregon. I sold 2 coins. I misspoke last time I talked about this, an 1805, and let's make sure I don't misspeak again. 1805, 1807, yeah. 1805 bust half, 1807 bust half. Put them up to auction through a major coin dealer. They did really, really well. I made, you know, a big profit on them, and it was enough. The sale of those 2 coins, after, you know, all the fees and everything, the proceeds I got were enough to completely pay for this card, and then, you know, a couple $100 more. So it's like I traded this card for 2 coins that I paid a lot less for, that I enjoyed owning, but I won't miss, not compared to this. So, you know, it's practically like a free Gem Mint 1.5 Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. Wow. So it's still possible. It's still possible to get insanely nice low-grade cards. Tough, much tougher to do. One of the reasons I bought this before the National rather than saving more money for the National is I knew that, you know, if this were at the National in a dealer's table, the chances I would get it for the price I did, very, very slim. It would either get scarfed up or it'd get scarfed up by another dealer who would jack up the price. I mean, hey, you know, to whatever the market will bear, or, you know, it just would have been highly priced by the first dealer that had it. So super stoked to have that. I'm taking it just to show off to anyone who will look at it as many times as, you know, I'm just gonna show it off until maybe people are sick of it. All right, I want to show you a new purchase here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is a relatively new purchase I have not shown off. And I got a great deal on it, I think, at auction. You know, I think maybe because it was, I can't remember, I'd have to look it up, but, you know, not a whole lot more than about $100. But this is the Logo Fractor Edition Topps Chrome Aaron Judge Gold Refractor out of 50. And I guess because he's injured, yada yada, or just right place, right time on the auction, I feel like I got a great deal on this Minty Fresh 9. One of the reasons I'm showing it to you, yeah, the shine on these is just stunning. And again, out of 50, 49 out of 50. We'll bring the DiMaggio back in a little bit. But one of the reasons I'm showing it to you is I think I have all of the gold refractors. I think I do. All of the 2022. As many of you know, I collect 2022 versions of Aaron Judge's Topps or Topps Chrome base card in honor of his 62 home run season. I think I have all of the out of 50s that are gold and they're not paper, you know, like gold refractor out of 50. I think I may have them all. Now, why do I say I think? Because nobody knows. Nobody knows how many there are. All right, this is the Sapphire Edition Gold. And, you know, most all of these I bought before the Judge prices went crazy. So, you know, that's why I've slowed down on this collection, because people are asking a lot more for them, dealers, sellers. So I'm so stoked I got what I did when I did, but I was able to pick that one up advantageously. Here's the Gold Wave Refractor out of 50, another Minty Fresh 9, number 12 out of 50. So we got 3 Minty Fresh 9s there. This is a near mint to mint 8, just the ordinary gold refractor. This is a really, really popular card, 36 out of 50. I bought that one, and shortly thereafter, you know how it goes, waited forever to find that one, and then this one came up a little bit later and paid very little more for it before, you know, these kind of took off. Minty Fresh 9, just the regular gold refractor, 43 out of 50. I'll put that on top of the 8, maybe, I suppose. And then we've got the Ben Baller Chrome Gold Refractor. I have the Rose Gold as well, which I think might be out of, I can't remember, maybe it's 10. But anyway, or maybe, I think it might be 10, maybe it's 25. Anyway, Gold Refractor out of 50, Ben Baller Chrome. We're just talking gold refractors out of 50 here. And I'll just kind of move that to there, I suppose. And then finally, this Gold Way Rave Refractor. Another Minty Fresh 9 out of 50. I just love this thing. 47 out of 50. You know what? Let's do this. Let's bring this up some. Let's go back here. Let's bring this. Oh, what the heck? We'll put this one up here. This is a dangerous thing to do. Do not try this at home, folks. Do not try this at home. Very bad idea. Woo! Let's see. Are they all 9s? 9, 9, 9. Oh, man. Turns out they're all 9s, except my additional gold refractor is an 8. Look at that. I think it's, what, 6 different gold, gold refractor out of 50 2022 Aaron Judges. I think that might be all of them. How sweet is that? Now, I didn't count this one because even though it's similar in design, it's not the same image. This is the Gilded Collection Mini Diamond Gold Etch out of 50 as well, 44 out of 50. We'll show it off, even though it, isn't the same image as the Topps base. But I think look at that, that's a Minty Fresh 9 too. I think I've got a complete collection of those 2022 Topps or Topps Chrome Gold Refractor Aaron Judges out of 50. But if I do not, if you know of another one, not paper, but refractor, then chromium or whatever it is, let me know and I'll go after it. Woohoo! All right, going to try to wrap this up pretty quickly. I've shown this before, but it's a, somewhat recent purchase. 55 out of 76, the 2017 American League home run leaders. Judge, as a rookie, hit the 52 home runs, and this is from the first year of Independence Day out of 76. So stoked to have that card. I just couldn't resist showing it again. This is the same league leader in Topps Black from 2018 out of 67. Because 1951 plus 67 would make 2018. I wanted these league leaders to be the home run league leader, not the, I think his other one is the RBI. So what a pair right there. Pair excellence. So stoked. So, I've shown both those, but I just wanted to show them again. And now let's talk about some new purchases. I got this from Ash Legacy Cards, but it was on his eBay store in a 5, and I said to myself, it was only $100-ish bucks. Oh, I got it off of his website, but it was on eBay as well. But I got it a little less expensive on his website. I said, these are so often centered down. I wonder if maybe eBay just got super picky and just gave this a 5 just because of centering. That's not on the card there, by the way. And so I have inspected this card carefully, and it's just the centering, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason this is a 5. I think they're too picky, in my humble opinion. So that was $100-ish bucks, and I just picked it up because I thought the price is right. Here's an 8 I've had for a long time that I paid less money for. But anyway, love that beautiful blue dot there, printer's dot. Oh, I love this card. The back, if you want to pause and read the back, pretty cool. So yeah, a couple of those. I would love to get more of those. Let me just briefly share my thoughts on, is it better to buy 1, 8, or 9, or a bunch of, lesser grades? My humble opinion on a card like this, if I could pick up several 6s or 5s without spending too much and they all look really nice, I think that several 6s or 5s can be just as good as one higher grade. I mean, let me give you an example, like take the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. Obviously that's bigger bucks, but if somebody over the years had been picking up, some 2s and 3s that were really nice and bought several of those instead of, 1 or 2 5s or 6s or something, depending on how many you could get, it can be just as good of an investment. I ran some numbers. I didn't, create those numbers for a video or anything, but I ran some numbers, and I think for a number of cards, take, for example, the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan. Rather than getting a couple of 8s, if somebody had gotten, several really nice 6s, they could end up doing just as well or having just as much value. And not only that, but, they can trade some of them off. So anyway, those are my thoughts. So got a new pickup here, which I just love. I don't care about the number. I care about the card. Card's fantastic. And then, my second copy of that, I love multiples. I finally realized, yep, that's me. I love multiples. This was $225. I think the author wanted, not the author, but the seller wanted $300 or $299, I think. Best of the old Bill Walton. Hang on just a moment here. Hang on just a cotton picker's moment, because I got this bad boy a long time ago for I think it was 95 bucks or 100 bucks. And these are the toughest star cards. There just aren't that many by any means. So I got this, a few years ago when they were cheap. This Kareem, there's only 4 in the set. There's Kareem, George Gervin, which actually I'd like to get to finish the set and have the toughest star set. So I got that for 100-ish bucks. This is one I was looking for a couple years, and I got it for $225 when it came up as a buy it now, and I couldn't slam that buy it now fast enough. My hand went right through the computer, right through the desk, almost took out the floorboard. Floorboard? Was I in a car? This story's getting out of hand. Anyway, $225 now. These are, a lot more. But I was super stoked to get this when I did, because it's about collecting. I really wanted the card, and frankly, I don't know that I'd necessarily spend 4 figures for this card, but when I could get it for a better price, just love this card. So I had those two, and I said, I really want the Walton. And 86 was a special year for Walton. He called up the Lakers. He wanted to be a Laker, but he had knee and foot issues, and, his body, fantastic player, of course, but his body, was betraying him. And so the Lakers, I don't know if it was, I'm trying to remember the name of the owner, but I don't know if it was the owner. But anyway, somebody in Lakers management or ownership told him, we're not going to take you, we're not going to trade for you or get you on the team because, you're just too much of a risk with your body falling apart. So he went to the Celtics, and oh, what a year. He had a great year. He contributed, and that, you know, Celtics team that won the championship in '86, you know, arguably one of the best teams ever. So I wanted a card of Bill Walton in the Celtics jersey from 1986, and there's basically, I think, two choices that I'm aware of. His base star card from this year, and then this one, which is much, much tougher. So this is the one I wanted. I didn't want to spend big bucks for it. I mean, big bucks. I think I got a steal on that. I really do. So there's 3/4 of the best of the new set. And now how are we going to close this out, at least with Star? I might have shown this off already, but I got this for, I think it was 140 bucks, maybe 150, somewhere in there. Anyway, it's a freaking mint 9 Moses Malone, and it's his toughest base card by far, not even close. 83, 84 star. There were certain teams like the Sixers where they just didn't have that many that didn't get destroyed because of production woes in terms of ink issues and miscuts and that sort of thing. So this is an absolutely fantastic card, 3-time MVP. You know, hey, in my humble opinion, this card should be worth a lot more. But hey, the market speaks, right? The market tells us what's worth more and what's not worth more. So yeah. Let's put them up here. All right, I'm going to turn, we'll try to put them up there. There we go. We're going to go out with the DiMaggio. Yeah, so let me get a little drink here, and let me turn this. Well, let me just show you the DiMaggio. Look at that, man. Wow, I am so stoked. I feel like I won the lottery getting this card. I mean, man, I never dreamed. You know, here's the deal. Do I love to get cards that are to me, in my opinion, this is low grade and freaking super high eye appeal at an awesome price for, you know, for the eye appeal and the condition to me. But do I have to have my cards be that way? No. I mean, you know, this card, I wanted this card. Registration would have been most important, but hey, I would have taken one that was, you know, if I liked the look of it, I would have taken one that had some, you know, some toning, some rounded corners, you know, off center. You know, the registration would have to be pretty solid, but, you know, maybe the colors weren't as vibrant, maybe it had a little paper loss. I mean, I would have taken a lot less. So I try to be patient, but I would have been happy to have one that is nowhere near in this condition just to have the card, and I would have cherished that copy as well. But this copy is just freaking blowing me away. Now, I'm going to close with something. I'll say this. Now, this didn't happen, right? But if one point I had traded, say, this card for the DiMaggio, and this card went up like 10x, and the DiMaggio only went up 2x or whatever, I guess I would kind of be like, dang it, man, you know, the monetary, think of what I could have done with that 10x hobby-wise. But the reality would be, which of these two cards do I like better? I like the Jordan card, you know. I could see myself bringing it back from the National and keeping it, but which of these cards do I like better? It's not even close, folks. It's not even close. It's the DiMaggio every day, all day, twice on Sundays. Even though I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, you know, I consider him to be up there as, you know, probably the GOAT. I mean, although I'd also say Kareem and Wilt and, you know, some others have some claims as well. I think more in terms of greatest of their eras. But anyway, yeah, this card. Oh, man. Tell you what, let's go out on this insane DiMaggio pair. Oh, my word. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe I have these two cards. If I could only keep two cards in my collection, that would be so tough. But these would be big-time candidates, so that'd be so tough. All right, everybody. I'll go out with one card because I'm not very good at videos. I need to use my other card to stop this thing. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my collecting brothers and sisters.